Welcome. At the outset, I welcome you all. A formal welcome will follow soon. I would request Mr. N.R. Panikar, the Kathapurush of the day, to kindly invite Chief Guest Mr. Kochosar Chitlappalli, Mr. C.J. George, our President of Thai Kerala, Mr. Ajit Bhupen. Yeah. Chair of the meet and President of Thai Kerala, Ajit Bhupen. Very distinguished invitees and corporate honchos of the state of Kerala and the country India, and two lovely ladies who has come. Most of the people who are, it's a small, short and small meeting in the sense that we can't afford to have more than 20 people as per the rules. And two of them who had confirmed has not, they called up saying that they won't be able to make it. Otherwise, all the people who had been invited are here. So we could start the meeting actually. Yes, right. And all of you know that this meeting is related to the release of the book called The Joy of Dreaming by Narayana Pilla Raghutama Panikar, N.R. Panikar, right. From Cherthala, Alappuzha district. Okay. What comes to my mind is that there is a movie called Kathapurush. In that there is a song which says Vethyasthanaya. You must have heard this song very well. So if I do a little parody on that, it will say Vethyasthanayaru Sambravagara Padikare Satyathil Aarum Tirichariyathundu oru pusthakam. So and the book was so engrossing, I must tell you, because I read the book once. In fact, I read the book twice. Okay, I finished it off in 2 sittings. One, when I was traveling between Cochin and Trivandrum and back, my Chittamma passed away. The travel was used for completing about 150 pages, and the rest of it was completed the next day evening. It was such an engrossing book. Very simple language, but in നമ്മൾ മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയും പച്ചയ്ക്ക് പറയുന്ന പച്ചയ്ക്ക് എഴുതുന്ന എന്നാൽ വളരെ ഹൃദയത്തിൽ തട്ടി വരുന്ന വളരെ ലളിതമായ very simple language but English. And some of the credit must go to Shruti. She is not seen here. I think she is listening to us. The grammar and syntax and the editing has been fully taken care of by Srimati Shruti Panikar now. Now she is no longer Miss actually. She who works for Zoom Info and as a product manager at New York. Most of you may know Panikar has 2 children. One is Hari, who is also in New York working for Adobe, and Shruti, the second one, who is again working in New York for Zoom Info. Now, I'll just give a little glimpse of the agenda for the day, and then let others take over. The agenda is that we will have a presidential address. We will have a daughter reminiscing about the father for 5 minutes from New York. We will have a recollection of the book by a person who has read it, none other than Mr. C.J. George. He has also read it in almost one sitting, I believe it. Okay. And both of us said that the he ended the book abruptly. It was such a flow, and suddenly he let it go and stopped it actually. So I asked him as to why. He said, number 2 is coming. The Joy of Dreaming 2 is in the making. Joy of Dreaming 2 is going to make. Okay. Excellent communication. It was actually communicating to people. I had seen in this book actually, this is a story of an entrepreneur. At the same time, this is a story of a villager who had grown up to become an entrepreneur. Okay. Most of the other references are, all the references are there, but other references which is not related to it, he had edited it out. Those are not there. People who are related to entrepreneurship and him growing from Cherthala to become an entrepreneur, everything is beautifully actually laid out in the book. I'm sure Mr. C.J. George will talk to you about that. So once Mr. C.J. George does the reflection of the book, we will release the book by Mr. Kochosar Chitlappalli handing over the book to the Vishishtadhigar sitting in this podium. Okay. We have felicitation, Mr. G. Vijayaraghavan for Trivandrum has accepted to come online to do a felicitation. John K. Paul, Mr. Johnny Churton will do a felicitation, which is, so therefore it is called offline felicitation. And we'll have another felicitation coming from Qatar. So if you understand, the meeting is being attended by people in New York, Qatar, Trivandrum, Ernakulam, and some of our charter members located all around here, actually. Okay. Then, yeah, Satish Pillai will also be speaking for about 2-3 minutes about the book. Then Mr. Panicker will read out some part of the book, and he will need it interaction or some questions or answer can be done. Later, Nirmal will join us to do the vote of thanks. Nirmal, our executive director, will join us to the vote of thanks. That is actually the day. Okay. Now, there is a lot to say. Definitely, since a daughter is reminiscing the father, a lot of personal aspect will come through that. My connection with Panicker is when, in 1986, when I joined HCL. By that time, he was the regional customer engineering manager located at Chennai. Okay. And being Mallus and having certain traits which is common to each other. This product also is from a village, and almost so many. In fact, when I was reading his book, there were so many things from within that was reflected in the book. The problem is now I can't write the book; it will be called a copy. If I write my book, it will be called a copy of the book. So there were so many things in Panikkar's life that he has undergone that has also been part of this. Maybe because that we vibed very well. Okay, though our functions never crossed. He's a customer support. I was sales and marketing. Then I came to Cochin, moved around. Panikkar went to Bombay to streamline Bombay upon the request of Mr. Nadar. Then he decided to become an entrepreneur. Okay, he almost went into entrepreneurship 1.5 years before that, but it was a good thing that he learned. It is beautifully detailed in the book as to why he didn't attempt it first and why he went it for the second time. Those things are very detailed in the book, which I am sure Mr. Panikkar also will hand over the book to each of you. He has brought one copy of each of the books duly signed. He will be handing it over. And then we have a small challenge in HCL. It's a HCL by itself. It is an ethylum of entrepreneurs, IT entrepreneurs of the country. You go anywhere in the country, you will see an HCLite doing business. It will hardware and software and everything. The problem in HCL is that once you leave out of HCL, then you are Dushman number 1 of HCL. That's the problem. And which is, yeah, that is the problem. In any company that I had seen, this is not the case. But in HCL, so long as you are HCL, you are yar, you are buddy, you are all of this things. But the moment you move out, you are Dushman number 1. That has always been the case. And because of it, Panikkar also has had some trouble to grow this up and move up. I think now what he runs is Panikkar version 3. In the sense that Panikkar version 1 was HCL. There was a small sojourn in between in Africa and back. Panikkar version 2 is Axel. Panikkar version 3 is also Axel. But that Axel and this Axel is going to be different. Sometime back I wrote in the Thai group, Ini or Angathina Balimundo. He says Ini Randangathina Balimundo. So he is actually going to go start all over again to do with the Axel business. Okay. Without much ado, I would request our president to do his presidential address. A brief presidential address. Please come over, sir. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Well, it came as a surprise that I have to speak something today. And I did call and say we have this function, but probably the little part was omitted. But when he reached out a week ago about organizing this event, I had no qualms and no second thoughts in readily taking it up. This launch supported by TiE Kerala, because we have the father of TiECon, John K. Paul here, 2012, and then NR is the godfather of TiECon Kerala. Without NR's help, and support, way back in 2012, am I right? 2010, yeah. The first version, and even the second, I remember closely attending the deliberations, the meeting, the prep, all full support. So I fondly recall vivid memories, and I'm thankful that a successful entrepreneur like him has shared his success journey in the form of publishing his memoirs and his autobiography. This I'm sure will inspire a lot of youngsters to take up the path and fulfill our dream goal of an entrepreneur in every home. With that, I conclude my words, and I wish all the best for this book, for let it sell in millions and become a number one bestseller in Amazon and in physical form. Wish all the best to all of you and look to hear. Frankly, since I have not read the book, I look forward to hear from people who have already read. SR has already said that that's a reliable person to a literary, critique, so to say, to hear from.
Literally, critique is the person.
So, good evening. Wish you all well and good evening. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. In one of those places, he has mentioned this. Is it working? Yeah. When speaking to somebody, and then he writes this: you do business for your bankers, your customers, your employees, your regulators, and your ecosystem. So what do I get? Subliminal mental satisfaction. Okay. Now let us hear from Shruti Panikkar, who sits, I think, close to about 14,000 kilometers away in New York. She wants to reminisce about her father and this book. Shruti, all yours.
See everybody together. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can somebody raise your hand so that I can? Okay.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Thank you. So I've had the pleasure and honor of associating myself with this project right from the beginning, which wasn't very long ago, I must say. And I'm extremely excited and happy to see this come to fruition. We have a tradition at home where we would sit around the dining table at night after dinner and we would talk. And Acha used to narrate stories of his younger days and his days in his college. And I used to comment, I said, we should turn this into a book. There are so many incredible stories here. Not just of his life, but also of India, of technology, of the business landscape. And they say life is stranger than fiction, and I couldn't see it be more true than in Acha's life. There were so many such moments in his life where you would wonder, wait, did that actually happen? How did all these things come together? But at the same time, I think what was incredible is a lot of what has been written in this book is grounded very much in reality. As Sir said, there is no flowery language, there is no exaggeration. It's Acha's life as is, and the life of our country and the world. I will not get into the details of the book. Others will talk about it, and of course, the stories are there in the book itself. So I think all of you can read it and go on this journey on your own. But all I want to say is that the book definitely does not shy away from the hardships, the failures, along with the moments of joy and success. So the process was like this. Acha would decided during the pandemic that I think I'm gonna finally write about my life and put pen to paper. I just didn't realize how fast he was gonna do it. He wrote the entire thing on his own in a matter of few weeks. I will not kid you. So he would write a chapter or two and he would send it to me. And I didn't have much to add other than to fix some language here and there, maybe fix some grammatical mistakes. Acha is definitely an incredible storyteller with amazing stories to tell. And so he would send me these chapters and I would go through them. I couldn't keep up, to be honest, with the turnaround time. And I would sit there, and I'm biased, but I would read some of these stories that were just incredibly moving, and I would end up my night in tears because of the challenges, sometimes the moments of despair that he's faced. Of course, while growing up, I was very young and I couldn't be there and be a part of this. I was somebody who was on the sidelines watching him build this incredible life, watching him influence and really affect the lives of millions of, or thousands and hundreds and thousands of people. But I started getting an insight into those moments in his life, and I think that has been a huge blessing for me personally. As I worked with him on this book, really just being a sounding board, I think, more than anything else, because this was all him. So I'm more than happy that we get to share the story with the world. Now that's in paper and on Amazon and Ocean Press and all these different wonderfully accessible ways. what I want to say about the book at the end is, not only is this a story about Acha's life, but it's also a story about the village. It's a story about India, about how India broke away from the shackles and the simplicity of the life in the 60s and 70s, and the changes that India has gone through, and also a story about the technology landscape, which Acha has been a part of. What I have taken away from the book, and just really working and reading this book several times over the course of many months now, is, life is really about moving forward, right? Taking one step at a time, not letting failures stop you, and really enjoying it as you go through it. And the biggest piece, of course, is to always have this vision for yourself, a greater vision that's more than just you, and never letting failure to stop you. Because this book definitely has both the failures as well as the successes, and how you go from that one failure to the next. And that's how the book ends as well. So it's been a wonderful journey. Thank you, Acha, for keeping me as a part of this. It's something that I'll cherish for the rest of my life, and something that hopefully we can talk about and pass on and spread the message. Thank you all.
Thank you, Shruti. Shruti is no stranger to anyone sitting in here. First two Tycons, she has been the master of the ceremony, and we have been enamored by the activity that she's done. Wonderful performance, and she walked away with, all our appreciation. Thank you, Shruti. Thank you so very much. In HCL, Panikkar writes in his book that he has a second coming to HCL. In between, he went to Africa to work and make some money, which failed. He came back and he joined again back as the RCEM, Regional Customer Engineering Manager based at Chennai. When he started visiting his clients with his colleagues, everybody was looking at them and addressing them and not looking at him. So he realized that he looks younger than the other two blighters. So that day onwards, he started growing his beard, and he has never shaved off after that. It is something close to about 40, 45, 50 years now. And in HCL, there is this long folklore going that if Panikkar does this, that means he is seriously into something. Anyone said, if Panikkar actually puts his hand somewhere here, that means there is something seriously that he is onto. So that is the case. For reflecting the book that he has read, Mr. C.J. George, the Chief Executive Officer, MD, and the founder of Geojit Securities, please. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. I read the book not in one go, SR, but it was on 2 different days because I couldn't finish on the first day. But I can tell you, when I finished the book, the first part, I was terribly disappointed that I did not have the time to finish the book. Now, this book can be divided also into two sections. In my view, he did write extremely well, like any other writer, fiction writer. So first part of my reading was like reading a fiction. And second part, SR, I did not know that SR told the Panikkar, the same thing. That was like it got concluded abruptly. This is the feeling we got. I got a feeling that Panikkar wanted to finish the writing. After some time you really tired. You want to finish it off at the earliest and then want to release it. So in that hurry, probably he would have finished the book writing abruptly. As Shruti said, this is not just a book about himself. This is also about the time that that period of time of this state particularly. And this was the time, rural setting in a village in Alleppey, which was reverberating with the Punnapra Vailar uprising, the exploitation, the working class, the car industry problems, all that are there in the background. So all the millennials who will read this book will definitely consider this as mere fiction. Because it is looking back, people may not believe it. I can connect, relatively better because I am also from basically into rural setting. I was born in the same setting. Only thing is that, ours was an agricultural village, farming as the major occupation for most of the farmers. So we didn't have to go through the hunger and starvation, etc., which was very usual in the 60s and 70s. And this is what Panikkar eloquently explained in many words at times and few words at times in the book in the first part. I must tell you, those days, it was extremely difficult for perhaps around 90% of the population in Kerala to meet both ends. People may not believe it today. So what we call middle class today, in today's Kerala, were largely in the group of lower middle class or poor class at that point in time. In the 60s and 70s, apart from business people, probably the farmers were better off, basically because there was no hunger. I have seen this happening in our own paddy field. Although we didn't have, I have also seen people converting Puredam into paddy land during that period of time. Because paddy was the currency also. I remember during my childhood, our parents were giving wages in the form of Rendaramani Nelle. And the same, paddy was sold in the market. It was basically used as a currency. This was the time we had this hunger and poverty that Alapi village, a poor village, has faced, and Panikkar eloquently written that in the book. And I must say that it is actually the reality that people faced at that point in time. It was very well written, Panikkar. I could read it only as a fiction, and I asked Panikkar, is it real? Did you really go through this? So, in his case, an entrepreneur was born as an enterprising child, really enterprising child. He took risk right from childhood. That is what is different from others. Perhaps we are all at particular age, at particular stage. Some of us would have taken risk in the business. In his case, he decided to take the risk on his own right from the childhood. It is really moving when you read the story in full. So this is one thing I noticed at that point in time. I really was thinking about what was happening in Kerala, what was happening in India. This is the way it is written. I must tell you, it's very touching. That is why I thought I was really genuinely wanted to finish the whole book. And after I finished it, I was a little disappointed because of the abrupt nature in which he closed the book. So the first part was about the enterprising student. It was almost impossible for him to get an admission into Trivandrum Engineering College, the best college in Kerala, and the best batch. It was extremely difficult, I could imagine. But when he came out, he was in the privileged group of somebody coming out of Trivandrum Engineering College with a degree that was much sought after at that point in time in electronics. But then he continued to take risk. That is what is most impressive. So people take risk at times, when you are in difficulty, you have nothing to lose. So that is the time people take, any kind of risk. You have nothing to lose. And this is the problem we are probably seeing, with the large number of millennials, large number of middle class, upper middle class children today. They have a lot to lose. So they are basically unable to take the risk which the previous generation took. But in his case, even with this engineering degree, even with a good job, then he was aspiring for better things, better life. He wanted to take risk to be like his boss, Shivanatha. He wanted to be one. So I would imagine that Shivanatha has really, inspired Panikkar in a greater way that is very well written and very clear. So he has taken a risk, but at the same time, I must tell you, I am from heavy finance, from the field of financial engineering. I must tell you, I'm jealous of Panikkar, the kind of deals he did. Mergers, acquisitions, reverse merger, sale, everything he did in his life. I think there is only Malayali who can beat in Panikkar in this, that is Arun Kumar of Strides.
Yes, right. Strides are correct.
And that's the kind of deals he has explained in the book. I did not know that he could do these many deals in his lifetime. So an entrepreneur is complete, not because of the size of the enterprise. An entrepreneur is becoming complete when he faces all kinds of troubles in life, and he experienced failures, not once, many times, and then most of the time also he succeeded. That is how, irrespective of the size of the enterprise that he built, he really went through all the experiences. That is what should be inspiring the people. Apart from this, now that corporate people are sitting here, a couple of things I just wanted to talk about the second half of the story, that is basically coming from the governance of a listed company angle. Not only listed, all of us today, one way or the other, mentoring people. We need to be, and we are all running companies and organizations. He made a mention about how careless we are in signing agreements. It is a casual mention in the book. I must tell you, particularly from South India and also from Kerala, when it comes to a joint venture agreement, a private equity agreement, or any agreement for that matter, we tend to go to the lawyer whom we know, or we tend to go to a lawyer whom our friend refers. Whereas the investor or the partner will be coming with all the infrastructure of the best lawyers in the world. Yes, this is where most of the time people fail. I think budding entrepreneurs, he perhaps mentioned in the book that he was perhaps not that careful with regard to the agreements that he signed. So this is a message, the new generation entrepreneurs, the startups, all those people who are running companies and succeeding, etc. They are likely to make this mistake of going to the lawyer whom they know, or going to the lawyer who his friend or father refers. But that is not the right thing to do, because the other side could be really brilliant. The other point is, on his last fight with his partner in a listed company. I was a little, as somebody who is running a listed company for 25 years, I was a little shocked when, independent directors resigned and left en bloc. Independent directors are supposed to be independent, not taking a stand with the either with the promoter or with the incoming investor. They are supposed to be completely for the company, for the public shareholders, or for all the shareholders. If there is a dispute, you should have independent directors who can stand up and take a stand. If Panikkar is wrong, yes, Panikkar is wrong. If the incoming investor is wrong, yes, he is wrong. Instead of that, if independent directors en bloc resigned and left, I don't know who the independent directors were in that company, I really felt sorry for them, or they could be of great brains, I don't know, but I was really shocked to see that independent directors en bloc resigned and left, and Panikkar was left to himself, and there was nobody else to talk for him. Whatever, I don't even know whether the investor was right or not, but I was surprised by the fact that independent directors resigned and left. So this is something people again make mistakes at times. That is also one of the reasons some promoters tend to appoint their drivers and supers as independent directors at times. So Panikkar, but I must tell you, maybe he is going to write the next book. But I was a little disappointed because he abruptly, completed the book. but maybe that's the way it should be. Also, I must go back and tell that, the difficulty that he faced related to that time, I forgot to say one thing. It was also to do with the matriarchal system in the Nair community at that point in time, and the transitional clashes, cultural clashes, when that happens between the changeover from matriarchal to patriarchal system. So that is also the period that we are talking about. When he suffered, he had wealthy cousins. So this was the case at that point in time in the 50s, in the 60s, and in the 70s. Every Nair community household had either a poor cousin or a wealthy cousin because of this system. And that system was transitioning during his period. That is also very well established and very well, brought out in the book. So this is what I could say about the book. I can say that you can read it like a fiction, and it's a learning lesson for all budding entrepreneurs, because those are the lessons that one should really go through. It is not about the success. I am of the view that one should not read all those people who never made mistakes, errors, or never made failures. We must read all those who met with failures, met with mistakes, and then only our next generation of entrepreneurs and those startups that are coming up today, they can learn very good lesson from this. That way, if you look at Panikkar book, irrespective of the size of the empire he built, what I can say is the size of the experience that he went through, it was absolutely amazing. And it is worth reading. I don't want to explain further. It will be a good reading, and some of the characters mentioned in the book are sitting here, particularly, James Tin. He was instrumental, many ways, influencing his life. Also Johnny, SR, who else? These names were mentioned in the book. So this is what I wanted to say. I am sure that this book will be a big hit, and we must make sure that our young budding entrepreneurs are going through this book meticulously. There is a lot to learn, absolutely a lot to learn. Never to give up, keep fighting like Panikkar. One will always succeed in life, in the business. This is what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Very well said, and you have really taken the complete essence out of the book and placed it before the people, including the insights that you have learned for yourself. And some of them are really social in nature, such as matriarchal systems and other things. Okay. In one of those HCL days, because Mr. C. George has mentioned about Shiv Nadar, of course, his role model. He had sent him to Bombay, then Bombay, Mumbai, etc., to resolve many issues, that customer support issues that was happening in the country. And the company was having such a bad name in Bombay. He went there in 6 months' time, he settled everything. And Mr. Nada came for a review. And the fight between the sales and the support was always there. And when Nada reviewed, asked this company what happened, the Panikkar very confidently said it is solved. And the sales guy said, no, it is not solved. Okay, so instead of trusting Panikkar implicitly, who has turned around the whole business in 6 months of time, Nada did a mistake of calling the customer and checking it. And that hurt him very badly. That really hurt him very badly, because he gave everything, and he gave everything to ensure that the turning around happens. At this point of time, he implicitly believed that Nada will say, yes, you did it. Instead of doing that, he called up the customer during the meeting to check up. That has hurt him very badly. Though Shiv Nadar continues to be a good mentor as well as a well-wisher of Mr. Panikkar, that was the resolve. Actually, he went into entrepreneurship for the first time, made up everything, and then people started asking questions. There was a major professor who was the HR head of HCL called Koran. He asked him 5 questions. He understood that I am not going to start the entrepreneurship at that time. He went back to work. And then Nada's that action gave up his resolve to start this business all over again. Okay, just a story on that. I would now request our chief guest, Mr. Kochose, to first release the book, and let's take some photographs with you all holding the book, and then do please put in some words of yours in this. Thank you so much. Applause is allowed.
Good evening, everybody. Friends, first of all, let me thank Panikkar for inviting me to release this autobiography. Friends, I have no much acquaintance with Panikkar, even though he told me one sentence. He was inspired to write a book by seeing one of my books. Thank you very much. And we have some similarity. In fact, I also born and brought up from a village area. As George said, we never had that much hardships because we have agricultural land, so poverty is not that big issue. Today morning by 11 o'clock, Panikkar was kind enough to hand over one book to me. Morning I have some other meetings. Afternoon I took one chapter. What is this man? So I selected the college days. I selected the college days. Yeah. And so along with his other talents, what I have noticed, the hardships he has encountered. For example, he was walking 7 kilometers every day from his home to St. Michael's College, 3-degree time. Not even to afford a bicycle. Later, he bought a bicycle at a very later stage, a second-hand one. Am I right? Yeah. Similarly, another thing, he got admission in Trivandrum Engineering College, prestigious college. That time, remember, Kerala, we have only 4 or 5 engineering colleges, and still Trivandrum is the best. Yeah, there he has to spend around 8 rupees to come home.
Yeah.
And then what he did, he saved 2 rupees out of it. How? How in the sense, he travelled from Cherthala to Alappi by bus, local bus. Then from Alappi to Kollam by boat by spending only 1 rupee.
That was an overnight journey. It was an overnight journey.
Yeah. Then another trip from Koilon to saving 2 rupees. Yeah. So that much only I could read, because so the message what I would like to convey here, our youngsters, especially those who are planning for to be a budding entrepreneur, must read these type of experiences. And nowadays, we youngsters, they are flushed with money, flushed with facility, flushed with information. So, in case of any setbacks, they cannot take it. Whereas, as Panikkar has encountered number of hardships, definitely he crossed everything, and now is a very successful entrepreneur. In fact, we have to appreciate one more thing. I think Panikkar holds a unique position in the sense he's the first IT startup Malayali, I believe. Am I right? IT services. maybe he's the first person. So that way he still holds that particular unique position. Nobody can beat him. Friends, I am really happy to be here with you all and with the Panikaran family. Definitely I will read the rest of the book. Definitely, as George said, there may be some more dreams. Joy must come out by dreaming. And he will write one more book with more experiences. These few words, let me conclude. Wish you all the best. Wish you thank you.
Coming in here, and in fact you started reading the book, I am very sure that you will finish the book. Thank you very much. We have 2-3 people to do felicitations. I will now request Mr. G. Vijayaraghavan to do the felicitation online, sitting at Trivandrum. Sir, all yours. Please go ahead. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to see all of you all, even though virtually. Very happy to be part of this this function. I've not had the opportunity to read the book, but I'm looking forward to doing that very soon. I would say Panikar's and my paths would have crossed in the late 70s. 78, I joined HCL's Instruments Division. So I'm sure that many things in his book of his initial periods, and I think his period in Coimbatore or Chennai, or Madras at that time, definitely there'll be a lot of people whom we knew each other, and we would have probably met in 78 to 79 first, I would say. And I think he would definitely have a reference to Shankaran. I don't know if there's a reference to Shankaran in his book, who was the regional manager, regional service manager for HCL. I was on the Instruments Division, and we used to use the same office for several years. But Panikar as an entrepreneur is something which is a very interesting story, and that's what I look forward to reading here. A lot of lessons I'm sure will be there for young entrepreneurs, and I hope to do that. So congratulations, Panikar, on the book that you brought out, the autobiography. A successful entrepreneur needs also to talk about the difficulties, and from what I've heard others speak, I think that's what you are talking about. And I should also say that when Panikar called me the other day, and he said, while on the call, I just had got out of a discussion, and he was talking to me about the problems he's having in Trivandrum or thing, and I said, we should call up. He said, no, let's wait for 2-3 days. But luckily someone called me that evening, and I said, you're talking of all the problems being solved out, here's one problem being sorted out. And next day I'm told that they started running around to get that sorted out. So I would just say that we need to have more people like Panikar. This people on the dais, whether it's Mr. Kochausik, Pali, or Johnny or Ajit, all of you, SR, all of you in a way are role models for a lot of people. I really can't call myself an entrepreneur, even though mine is a small organization, 1 or 2 man company, more of a consultancy kind of a thing. But it is people like you all who have taken the risks, have really made an impact, and who are role models for a lot of others to really replicate as you all go forward in life. So it was also nice to see Shruti after a very long time on the, so happy that she's also virtual, was able to see her. And so for all of you there who are there, nice to be there, but I'd love to be there in Cochin, but let's try to see whether the last formal meeting that I went to, or get that I went to, was the Thai retreat that we had at in Adirapalli. So let's look forward to Ajit organizing one very soon. With all of us vaccinated, it should be easier to go. So thank you very much, and once again, congratulations, and I'll get on the book release. Thank you.
Thank you, JVR. Your name is also there in the book, as well as Mr. Shankaran. And Shankaran is his boss, so he has very eloquently explained as to how he has worked under him. Thank you so very much sitting in Trivandrum and giving us this message. Okay. Now I would like to invite a person we all call Chetan, Leonie Chetan, who had the guts to start a ThaiCon. We 5-6 years, we went with Thai just like that, and he said, let us start it. And whom does he get? He gets Sakshal, the workaholic N.R. Panikar. And it was history. And that records are still not being broken in many ways. Leonie Cheta, all yours.
I was quite, no, just kidding. I was quite surprised when he called me and he said, you got to sit on the podium and say a felicitation. And then now I get another surprise saying that my name is in the book. So when Kochev said, when CJ talked about, saving that 2 rupees and then millennials may not understand what's written in the book. So I just thought of an anecdote, which I read sometime back. An American mother suddenly heard that this is when, before the Netflix and all that, okay, there's a theater still going to theaters. And she heard that the movie Ben-Hur was playing in a particular theater. I suppose most of you have seen Ben-Hur or at least heard about it. So there's a huge war scene and all that. So this child very reluctantly is pushed to see Ben-Hur. And he comes back and he says, so what did you see? How was it? He said, Mom, you should just imagine, one side had all the missiles and the other side had such tanks and they were shooting. And this mother was stunned. This one in Ben-Hur, one side had this, all the modern stuff, and the other side had something more new, nuclear or whatever. Said, yeah, are you sure they showed you that? Said, Mom, if I tell you what they actually showed, I'm sure you won't believe it. Okay, so it's a matter of being aware and how to understand what you read or what you see, because it's very difficult for them to. I've heard my father's stories, so I can very well connect to these. Anyway, I just wanted to say about 10, 11 years ago, when Thai Kerala decided to do the ThaiCon, I still remember the first meeting, CJ was there, and there was just a few of us, we discussed this, and CJ said, I'm with you, but I think we better get more people on board, otherwise this thing won't go. So finally we called another meeting. I still remember that it was in Riviera. Okay. It was on a Sunday afternoon. Ramda. Not Riviera, sorry, I made a mistake. It was in Ramda. It was a Sunday afternoon. I think we stayed there on Saturday and Sunday. So the idea was everybody wanted to do a ThaiCon, but nobody knew what the hell it was. Okay, we just heard that Thai does ThaiCon, and that time, I had been to one ThaiCon before that in Silicon Valley, just to understand, but I was far away from knowing how to conduct a ThaiCon. So everybody was discussing what to do, and suddenly Anna told me, Johnny, I'll do it. Okay, you guys look after everything else, I'll organize it. And you don't know, because he was the only one who has seen a ThaiCon in Chennai, but even then he didn't have to come out, and say, okay, I'll do it. And that's exactly what happened. And he did all the organizing. He and SR, he pulled SR also, both of them went around to all the newspapers and all of them and got this thing organized. While I didn't have to, really, I just had to put it, he took it and I just left it there. And of course, all of us worked for each area and collecting money and all those things. So once in a while you would ask me, said, how was the collection? So, when we started the first meeting, I was told, you can, at the max, you will get 25 lakhs. So we said, we're doing it in Le Méridien, that itself will cost something, it's quite a lot. There's no, then we'll do it in Gokulam Park. I said, if we're doing a ThaiCon, it should be done in Le Méridien. Okay. Le Méridien, otherwise, it's better not to do it, because then we'll come a second class and we'll remain there. Then I told me, he said, go, we'll do it. Let's find out how to do it. So, he was not involved in getting the finances, but I could leave it and look into those parts only because he was fully there. And I remember allotting to each person what to do, all that. So this is what I remember. So much, we have not been very much in contact after that, But once in a while, we get in touch, we talk, we meet at the retreats. And I still, I remember that so well, and probably that's the reason why I'm in his book, because otherwise we're not in business, or we don't do anything much. So I thank you very much for inviting me and putting my name in the book. For whatever reason, I still haven't read it. I hope it's good, and I wish you all the best. I'm 100% this book will sell. I'll definitely read it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John and Shweta. For your understanding, before this he has actually gone ahead and done World Malayali Conference as well as Global NSS Conference. And Gold Malayali Conference, he had been able to get a surplus of 60 lakhs rupees, where all those big time Malayalis in Chennai said that we can't do anything. So he has had this, CJ said about the risk factor. Along with the risk, he also had the adventure. So he combined the risk and adventure together, and that's the way it went. And yep, didn't get back the money. Okay. Now there is a person called Satish G. Pillai. He is his classmate of James Dean as well as Mr. Anna Panikkar. Mr. Panikkar was working for HCL, has seen that he will be able to run the show. I mean, it's like hand-to-mouth existence with no saving. And he had a dream of having, when he retires, he should have 1 crore rupees in the bank. And while working in HCL, he thought that he will not be able to get that. So when he met Satish G. Pillai, he said, okay boss, if you have to do something like this, you have to be an entrepreneur. And he is the one who had actually instilled the seed or given the seed of the entrepreneurship in Panikkar's mind. So let us hear from Satish G. Pillai, who is sitting in Qatar, Doha. Am I right? Sorry, he's Oman.
Yeah, he's in Doha.
He's in Doha, Qatar, and speaking to us from there. Mr. Pillai, all yours. Thank you very much. Please go ahead.
Good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
It was wonderful to see Panikkar, and can you hear me?
Yeah, all of us.
It's really wonderful to see that Panikkar is coming out with this book. He mentioned to me, as usual, he tells his startup stories first to me, before I had the privilege of hearing it from him initially itself. That I was thinking, it is a new challenge which he has taken up. He has made use of pandemic very well. If I recall back, I know him for almost more than 46 years now. And I'm really privileged to have a friend like him. And I have watched the riveting story in this biography unfold from close quarters. In fact, I remember our association was started off in College of Engineering, where he was a very active student and a very good singer. I still remember his songs in the stages those days. It is wonderful. I always try to hear it whenever I try to meet him. And normally after a drink, he sometimes comes out. It is really fabulous and fantastic. And after leaving engineering college, after a few years, I think after he returned from Nigeria, we met together again in Chennai. And I used to work for Motors and he used to work for HCL. I was in sales and marketing, he used to be in service. It has become close contact in a few days, I can say, and we family started meeting every weekends. And we used to share our experiences from sales and marketing and from air service. I used to see his urge of creating wealth. Somehow at the end of the day, I could find in him that, working may not be his foray. And I still remember the day when I mentioned to him that start something of your own. And it was very interesting that day. I think Panikkar has in his face, yes, something to do different. I still remember, I think if I recall, it's a house in Jetpet in Harrington Road. We met in the evening and we had dinner together. And after a week, he came back and said, yes, I'm going to do something different. It was a big turning point. He struggled a lot, I know. I think he had to mobilize money. In fact, a small way I contributed, and his word was, I'll return it in 10 times back. He honored the word in the shortest time also. But it was an excellent way he transformed things. He had faced extremely difficult times, but all towards success finally. In the struggles which I know about personally, professionally, legally, and few mistakes have costed him heavily and financially, but he made it big. And then he had setbacks. He was always ambitious. I mean, unless without setbacks he cannot come up. And good part of it is he has always shared those things, because I'm also in the different kind of industry. In various kind of industries I worked for, it was a great sharing of information. And each time when he went through any kind of an adversity, he meticulously tackled each one of the issues quite successfully. Still I believe that it was his humble childhood background that really equipped him to adeptly manage any challenge that came his way. This itself is a great inspiration for everybody. I think you read the first part of his book, it tells many things which present youngsters have to really understand and follow him. Now, many of you I heard mentioning about his next phase has not been written. I think his next challenge of Axel 2, he made an excellent foundation which I am aware of. And the next chapter, because Shruti is involved, I know Shruti and Hari together will make an excellent superstructure on the foundation just made. Maybe half story Panikkar will write, rest of the story they will write. I wish Panikkar and his family all the best, and I'm extremely confident that the next phase also will be a great success for all of them. Wish the family and Panikkar all the best and good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Satish Kumar. Very well said, very well spoken. In fact, you had mentioned about people's ability to handle such difficulties in their childhood and their growing up times, equipping them to handle all those big time challenges that a person like Panikkar has faced. It was a case of hunger continuously. It was a case of death at the home. He actually lost his sister, who was only about 10 years old, in an accident. There's so many things. You'll read, you'll cry. Actually, there are several instances about Shruti said is absolutely touched. You will cry. Reading the book, you will cry. And now we will have the protagonist, the Katha-Purushan, reading some part of the book, and also, in case you have questions, talking to them. Next 15 minutes is meant for that. Post that, we will have to disperse. Please come, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for coming over, and people who are on online, they're on watching the streaming, and there are people on Zoom, and I'm thankful to all of you. And I also want to thank CJ George and S.R. Nair talking elaborately about the book, because they are at the book. I sent them the manuscript not long ago, just 5-6 days back actually. So they took the initiative, they just went through that. And
now that you are going to speak, I have a complaint. That is, one lead character was quite silent in the whole book. That is funny. No, because we have gone through,
I have written that in one.
No, relatively.
One line I have written, because somebody asked me this question, then I had to elaborate many things, but then I had this compulsion, or I thought that the book should not be more than 220 pages. That was one basic mistake probably. I didn't want to make that Oru Deshatinda Kada type of books. I thought that people have to 2-3 hours you read, and then as I was telling you that one day I was sitting in the lounge of Cochin Airport, and then I went to DC Books and I looked at one book, Hope. So immediately I picked up that, and as the flight was delayed, so I was sitting and reading it. So that was his, Sri Kochosep's autobiography. So I went through, and the next one day I finished it. And in that book, what he had narrated was about his journey from Chennai to Trivandrum for an interview in ISRO. Then finally he attending an interview for a stabilizer company where he was MSc, and then he had this convincing to be done because he was taking a junior level post and all that. So he was talking about his entrepreneurship or professional journey first in the first half of the book. Then he went on to narrate about his family. That is what he did. But I thought that let me narrate my personal story, because the personal story will be very captivating. And I have an assistant called Joseph, who is from Chalakudi. Now, I was telling him, Joseph, I want to write something about my life. I think the time has come, Corona, we have to write everything, keep it. So then Joseph told me, will your family agree to revealing all this what you told me? Did you? Then I said that, no, I kept telling everything to everyone. I am an eloquent person, I don't hide anything. And then I said that now it is okay, children are married, so settle everything. Because this is the kind of society where many people, they don't actually disclose many, they don't want to tell, they just show off as if, they come from somewhere. Everybody has gone through this. It's not that first generation entrepreneur means hardship. Every first generation, we have learned everything about Dhirubhai Ambani or in fact Joni's parents, or everybody has gone through this. So you have to struggle and bring up. And all these people, now there are many small things I can narrate, but it will take a longer time. It's not in the book. Many things are not in the book. Now, one of the things is that I went to Delhi. HCL was not my first job. I went to a company called Servo Electronics. Servo Electronics, how did I get the job? Because of James Trivey sitting in front of me. Because he was getting a posting in ONGC, and I happened to meet him in Lajpat Nagar, and he took my application and gave it to that Chowdhury, and I got an employment. Okay, and because of his good work, not because of my good work, he told me, "Oh, James Tin is a great fellow. He told you about you, so I will give you a job." So like that, he gave me a job. Now, this is one part of the story. Another part of the story is that when I went inside, they wanted to reverse engineer a small, we were R&D engineer. He was an R&D engineer, I was an R&D engineer. So they wanted to reverse engineer one small circuit board. This circuit board was for a stabilizer. Servo Electronics was a servo control stabilizer. They wanted to come to that small stabilizer. Then I saw one B-type stabilizer. Then he wanted me to, electronics, if somebody knows that, they will put shellac and close that circuit. It's a small delay circuit for a stabilizer. Which stabilizer is? Then I realized that stabilizer is trans-stab stabilizer. Now, trans-stab stabilizer, probably he will have some story about that stabilizer business in Trivandrum. So I was opened that thing and created the delay imitation, and all that I did that. This is the old story of first job, first work was this only. So I have written in that book how you learn this entrepreneurship if you are in Delhi. That Delhi is so many entrepreneurs, so many people you keep learning. Like I am talking about my first job, where I went and worked in some shady company. I went Delhi, I need a job. So I was looking around for a job, on advertisement came. I went to work for a company which is into radio engineering. They're creating something for radio engineering training and all that. So that I realized later that is some kind of fraud business they are doing. So first month I took the salary and vanished from there. Afterwards only I came to Servo. and from survey I went to HCL and stuff like that. I mean, it's all really fascinating. But the point is that all these adventures which has happened, I have also narrated the story. In fact, the first photo in the book, there are some 27 photos are there, and some 11 caricatures are there in this photo. Every chapter will have a caricature. Okay? And the first photo is a train journey from Thiruvananthapuram to Delhi or wherever. In that photo, I have James Tin, I have Bahalayan, who are the first rank holder, then Lalu and Rajagopal. Okay? Now this train journey is memorable because in engineering you have to go for a study tour in the final year. That is the one you are exposed to the world, or you go. I didn't have money, so 225 rupees is too big a money at that time for me. So my father told me that I will write a letter to your professor. I don't have money, so you just excuse him, so don't go. So I went and told people like James Tin and this Neelakantan and all that. Neelakantan is one of the members in TiE, and Neelakantan was the secretary for that tour. So they all arranged saying that, okay, they will take me for free. Okay? So they took me for free. I went with this thing. I went to Bombay, Delhi, and Chennai and all that. We visited and came back. But then the point is that afterwards, when I went to Delhi, Delhi is a familiar place for me because I had visited. So the kind of things which you see in this book, there is another interesting thing in this book would be that, I mean, it's not interesting, but the fact of the matter is that I am a Nair. It has been told that I am a Nair. So Nair means a forward community has been going through a lot of problems because all these poor people, they don't know, all their wealth has been mortgaged and given to people. They have been all struggling in 60s or 50s. And that is when this thing came up, saying that forward community, good people, bright people are to be given the scholarship which is given to backward people. There was a Kumara Birla Commission. So has been going on. When Achyuta Menon came as a chief minister, it was in 70 or 71, he enacted a rule saying that, okay, this will be Kumara Birla Commission, scholarship will be implemented. That is when, so I took this news and went to my father saying that, hey, there is Kumara Birla Commission scholarship. So with this I can study engineering. So I went to Kumara Birla Commission. In fact, I am the first forward community guy who got this benefit. You know how this kind of legislation will benefit people and they change their life because of this kind of thing. So I have elaborated this particular episode because that is, but for 1972 that rule coming into play, I would not have seen Trivandrum Engineering College. It was a big place at that time. So the disparity between rich and poor can be eliminated only if there are such rules coming, people do all those things. So later, you think of it, I feel that there are nimittam, Malayalam parayilla nimittam. So this and very many small things. There is another episode, that is why CJ is talking so much about this initial chapters. There was an episode. I used to be a very good singer, okay? So I keep on singing all over some local programs and all that. SSLC, I didn't get 100% marks for maths. I studied in a very poor, small village school where the pass percentage is 12 or 15% people pass in the SSLC. So I was the topper, obviously. And then my maths teacher, Rajappan sir, he called me, how much marks you have got? for March 90. Why you didn't get 100? So you think you are a Yesudas? Will you become Yesudas? Then he told me that there will be thousands of singers in this country. In fact, I can tell you there used to be one Patanakkad Purushottam.
Yes.
I am also from Patanakkad. He never became anybody. He was a singer. So he advised me saying that no, don't think that you may become Yesudas or you may not become. But you can definitely become an engineer. That I can write and give to you. So on that day only I decided that okay, this is something which I should think. My underplay is singing. Like that, and there was another situation. And again, I mentioned in my book about mentoring. See, this book is all about entrepreneurship actually, from childhood. Even though I am telling the story of my childhood, even in that I have entrepreneurship in that. There was this mentor. When I was in pre-degree, as he was telling, I will walk all the way to St. Michael's College, coming back. Once in a while I go to one friend's house. His father is a very, very intelligent person, Ramakrishna Menon, in Charthala town. And he became a mentor, okay? So much so that, and he will advise me, no, you should do engineering, why all these small trivial things. Then, after my pre-degree, this Ramakrishna Menon bought application for me. Ramakrishna Menon had 7 children, so they were all, he made him to study and all that. In fact, I had invited one of his sons who is in Kochi. I think he could not come. And so he only bought application. He only filled up application and then gave it to me, saying that you go, send it, this not come. Then you will see whether you are going to join or not. Even though he didn't help me financially. But the point is that mentor, mentoring, how mentoring can change. In fact, I put appropriate chapter headline and where mentor can change lives, So that is what we try to do in Thai. You can change. He is a mentor guru, SR9. So he mentored me actually, and he was responsible for me to go for engineering. And when I was doing all these menial jobs, one day I met him and he told me, what, yeah, you are doing job for 300 rupees? Then he fired me. He said that, no, you resign the job, forget. You go aim high, go somewhere, go away from here, go engineering service exam, do IAS or something. I landed up in Delhi for interview, okay. So there are so many of these life experiences made me to do this, and then changing the status of your family from that old status to the next status. That became the KRA, in business we talk about Kirasat. So these are all written in this book. But SR told me I should read something. Then I went on to this entrepreneurship, and then I did something. Then he wanted me to read. It seemed the author has to read at least some portion, so that the people who are listening, they will know what type of book I have written. So I have not ever visited any book reading session, but I just picked up something, which I think probably take maybe 7 or 8 minutes, but I think it's worthwhile listening to that. In page number 130, you don't have the book with you. The Seeds of Entrepreneurship is the chapter. Mr. Satish G. Pillai, then a vice president of Voltas in Chennai, was a close friend of mine. We had studied together in College of Engineering, Thiruvananthapuram. As family friends for a long time, we used to meet often at his home. I would share my problems with him and share my future plans. One day while discussing it at his home, I told him, in HCL I could retire as the head of customer service division at the age of 55, but I won't have any savings. Having struggled to become an engineer, and engaging in many adventurous endeavors to reach up to this level. I want to aim higher to earn better and gain recognition. By the time I retire, I should have savings of at least 1 crore of rupees. I am not sure if my HCL job will make me there. So, I should set up a small business and become my own boss. I need to shed the tag of an underdog from a lower middle class background. If I succeed, it would be a recognition for all the service engineers who struggle to keep their company's profile high but never get to be the front runners of a company. Mr. Satish agreed with me and said it was an excellent idea worth pursuing. Okay. I did not know where to start or what to do. It's only an idea. However, I made up my mind. I had seen how people do business in North India. That was the seed. I went to North India and working in Okkala, working in Jandaval, and all these things were my old experience. And then I had also seen closely how HCL was set up and had grown to become a big success story. I started dreaming about my own business venture. That is why the book is named as The Joy of Dreaming. Soon, a conference for service managers was held in Delhi. And Delhi we discussed with, I don't want to elaborate there. And then we discussed and decided to set up a third-party maintenance company, third-party maintenance of computer. This was discussed with a regional manager of Bangalore. But then he took it seriously because he had some friends who had money. I didn't have money. I have a 3-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter. No money in the bank, zero. And I don't know what to do. So I didn't start actually. I kept quiet. Then, but it's bugging me. Every day I think, yeah, I should start. If they can start, I can also start. So there is a portion here. I was not able to decide because of my family commitments. I discussed this on page 132. I discussed this with KCS Menon, an elderly colleague of mine at HCL. He chided me. You keep saying this every time. If you want to accomplish something, you must start first. If you think that you can build and sustain the business, first you quit the job and start the business. Too much deliberation will not work when you are taking a risk. Like Vidura to Pandavas in Mahabharata, he went on to advise me. Procrastination is an evil that will prevent your progress. Determination and perseverance are necessary if you want to succeed in your endeavors. Okay? So with this, I went on to build some business plan and all that. I decided to quit. Then I was actually wanting to start a UPS marketing and service company and later get into computer maintenance because this is something I thought I could do easily without money. And with all this, during this time I met a sales manager. So I had met some few people, one partner was there. And then after having listened to Mr. Menon, I decided to accelerate my initial steps. First I needed an appropriate name for my enterprise. I thought of many and finally zeroed in on Axle. It meant acceleration. Back then Axle was the name of a software add-on used in unified database software which I used to maintain for HCL. So a good reason I picked up that name was that it starts with alphabet A, so that the company name will be the first in any listing. The next one is more important. Next one was that idea it represented, acceleration, a terrific trait for any business. Then I approached a chartered accountant and asked him to prepare articles of association for the proposed venture. This was early in 1989. During this time, I met the sales manager of a UPS company. He said he will join with me as a partner. Okay? And then I knew one Chellappan, who was the managing director of Numeric Power System. It's a big company, big company, sold and made a lot of money. So this fellow told me, I can become a distributor for him. So I started a company by name Axel Electronics Private Limited with me and the sales manager, front are the directors. I had not yet quit the job. I wanted to do all the paperwork, preparatory work before quitting. I felt it was ideal to have a few orders in hand before quitting the job. We needed a telephone. Getting a telephone connection in those days was an extremely difficult process. The normal waiting time to get a new telephone connection was 15 years. My manager in HCL, a good friend of mine, said I could borrow his BSNL telephone which he had kept placed under safe custody. Thus the telephone problem was resolved temporarily. I was confident about the success of the venture. My idea was to start with the UPS and computer accessories first and then move into computer maintenance. UPS system were very big demand and then margins were good, blah blah. Then comes, with everything set in place, or so I thought, and full confidence, I sent my resignation letter to Mr. P.K. Asija, the executive director and my reporting manager. He was shocked. He called me immediately and inquired about the reason. I was the best performing manager in the customer support division, and he would be in difficulty if I left the job all of a sudden. He asked me to hold on. Then he sent Professor George Korath, the executive director and head of HR in HCL, to Chennai to talk to me. I met Professor Korath in the Chennai office. Our discussion opened my eyes. First, he asked about my family, parents, wife, children, and about my financial situation. Then he asked me, did you discuss this business venture with all your relatives and have they agreed? He asked. No, I said. Do you have money to survey for at least 6 months if the business doesn't take off? No, I said. Do you think all the friends you have now will treat you the same way when you quit the job and be on your own? I said, I don't know. Do you think people who have promised to support you will honor their commitments? I have no idea. Did you do the due diligence on the person who is supposed to be your partner? I said, no. Please think about all these, find proper answers to my questions, and then make your decision. I am not pressurizing you to stay, but HCL wants you. You are a foreigner in the company and you have a bright future here, he concluded. I went home and spent a sleepless night. So far, I had been dreaming about starting a venture with only the positive aspect in mind. I had never given a thought to the negatives. Professor Korath gave me a fresh perspective. I was already aware that the chance of survival of a new entrepreneurial venture was only 20%, but these new revelations made me think more. I was well respected manager within the company and also among my customers, but I had not pondered enough on how the scenario might change when I was out on my own. Rule number 1 was that you should be willing to lose your friends when you are on your own business. Was I ready for all that? 3 situations gave me the glimpse of things to come. I had a customer visit next day. He was a well-known to me, someone I considered a friend for many years. When I met him, he welcomed me warmly. After our pleasantries, I said I had resigned from HCL to start a small business. I asked him if he would support me in my new venture. Suddenly, I saw his warmth vanishing and his eyes getting more glued to the Economic Times daily what he was reading that afternoon than listening to me. I came out of his room struck by a revelation. I felt a jitter in my spine. All that fame and importance I had been receiving came from my position as a senior executive in HCL. Once I lost that tag, I could be treated as a nobody. The next day I talked to the manager who had promised me the telephone. I told him that I have resigned from my job and registered a company and when could I put in the application to reinstall his phone? The man said he would be shifting from Chennai shortly and hence the telephone was not available. That evening, an acquaintance of mine who was in the computer accessories business met me. I discussed with him about the company I was to start and about my co-promoter. He said he knew well that person whom I am referring to and how unreliable he was, and even narrated some instances. That looked like the last nail on the coffin of my new business. I suddenly realized that I had put in my papers without doing enough of homework. The chance of failure seemed to be far too high compared to chance of winning. I kept on thinking about it. I had already told many of my friends about my resignation. Everybody knew that I was on my way out. What should I do now? I was not able to sleep for the next 3-4 days. Even when I managed to get some sleep, I had only bad dreams. On the 4th day morning, I went to the office and called up Mr. Asija and told him that I am withdrawing my resignation. He was more than happy to hear this. He told me to forget that happened and continue to do the good work I was doing. Thus, in a matter of a week, the whole episode of my entrepreneurship came to an end. Little did I realize that there would come many challenges when you set out to establish your enterprise. Self-awareness was very important. For the first time in my career, I tasted failure due to poor planning. I was blind with overconfidence when I went to announce my business and submitted my resignation. So these are all the kind of things I have written, because it is not that overnight somebody became entrepreneur, unlike he has done it from early days. Here, it's a different story. At the age of 36, you have a company car, you have big home, office and everything. Suddenly you resign and you are on the road. Nobody respects you, and finally your life will be miserable. So one has to take all these things. I have taken all these things. As CJ was telling me, that probably small business, I never exceeded 500 crore in turnover. I had done the height of this thing, it must have been 525 crore turnover. But the amount of things I have done is what, because whether you are small or big, Kattilli Cherudayalum Kalannu, Malayalam said. But what all things I achieved? I mentioned somewhere, I am from Jayarthala, poor village. I was struggling without food for many days. That was my background. One day, I am sitting in a posh hotel, Savoy, overlooking Thames River, and I am being hosted by ICL UK. ICL is a big computer company.
It is number 2 mainframe company.
And I am being hosted by them, and the kind of paraphernalia. Sitting there, I was, remembering what this was in 2000. So I was remembering what all things in your life you have undergone. And that is why my book is a different story. It is like a fiction, correct? It is not like running a company, it is like fiction, but I am sure you will enjoy. And today what I am going to do is that everybody will be given a complimentary copy of this book. And if you think it is good, you should tell probably 50 people. I think probably they all buy it.
What is the incentive?
You will arrange a copy for those who are virtually present also, correct, Panicker?
Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me. It has been a nice experience writing this book. Actually, I enjoyed writing this. But I never knew that I could write like this. But when I got on to that, I was able to write. And I said, one more thing I wanted to tell you. In the book, there is somewhere I have written my experience of train journey from Ludhiana to Delhi.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah? It's a good experience. And that story you have to read. And in that story, I am traveling from Vardhaman Spinning Mill to Delhi. Vardhaman Spinning Mill computer broke down. So I had gone there. After many years, I came to Ernakulam I found the EDP manager of Joni. I met him there. Ravi was working in that place when I went there. So there are many of these small things add up to. So I was telling that it's all about dots. You know, there are so many dots you have to join together, it will become a pattern and you become it's all about networking. That is why TIE is so relevant in this. Thank you so much.
Yeah, what I thought, it's 7:30, there's a water hole in the first floor. So probably we could shift there and talk each other. Otherwise, you know, if you're keen, we can take some questions. What about it? What do you say? Can we spend 10 more minutes here? Okay, 10 more minutes or so question. Please ask. Ajit, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Can I just sit and
Yes,
say?
yes, the president.
So, before when I spoke, I had no clue about the contents of the book. Now with NR's candid speak and the life story, I'm very inspired. I want to make a commitment and ask a favor. The commitment is, Nirmal here, are you there?
Yeah,
please.
he's here.
We at TIE Kerala, we are going to promote this book on our website, by email to all the members. And also feature in our newsletter.
Yeah.
Great.
Monthly newsletter. The three things, commitments.
Yeah.
Because this is our own selfish interest, because we have to promote education, learning.
In fact,
As-
one of the
yeah.
feeling I get is that I, over the last 10 years, have not been able to add, other than you and Nirmal, not been able to attract young people. There have to be.
No, we have had a lot of members
No,
last
no,
year,
no, no.
but we have not had a.
All right, okay, yeah.
Okay, so the favor, pleasure. And the favor, in return, we would like to hear you sing at the next retreat.
Yeah, that's right.
We would like to hear you sing at the next retreat.
We'll.
Sing.
അടുത്ത പാട്ട് പാടണം സർ എന്താ പ്രശ്നം
I'll sing 3 songs.
അല്ല we have to say like this, not more than 3.
MSA will provide you the incentive.
Yes. Right, please give the mic to
Thank you so much.
You have a question, please sir. Sir, take the mic.
You come from Cherthala, once the hotbed of communism and labor militancy.
Yeah.
Did that environment positively influence you to become a capitalist?
Actually, I have touched this subject. Actually, in fact, in my book, there is a subchapter called "Communism in the Midst of Democracy."
Yes.
Okay, but what I understood is that these are all sort of why communism happened, or why Punnapura Vailar in 1946. I am staying next door of that. Why that has happened? It's all because there is so much of disparity between poor and wealthy people. Or wealthy is not there, poor people are there, and middle class people. There are no wealthy people. I have not seen any wealthy people, the so-called. So unfortunately, these people shout slogans and walk, and my Tattagam used to be a Communist Party office next door, because I didn't have newspaper at home. So there is a Janayugam and a Soviet land being subscribed to that party office. So I go sit there and I also listen to their debate. And I keep listening.
Over BD and Paripura. Over the BD and
Paripura. That will be Lalappan tea shop is also mentioned. I know I mentioned all these things because these are real story, period story. So the disparity between poor and rich people can be removed only by education and employment. In fact, Axel, I have given employment for thousands of people. When people come, it was a learning ground. A lot of people will come. But what I achieved was that hundreds of people from my village got employed. So there was at that time itself I decided that something you have to do. But communism per se, I am against the current state of affairs. That is a different story. In fact, this book became abrupt because I had written one chapter about doing business in Kerala, which I removed because I don't want to pick up any controversy in my first book itself. But the other day I got a request to write a quote on how good is Kerala in doing business. At that time I said that I will not write, because I am going to write the next book where I am going to have a full chapter about what all things I have gone through. So this is something because we mismanage the whole culture. People talk about what I keep seeing the Thais dialogue and all that. I keep seeing. I don't respond. But what is required in this day is a cultural change. It is not about this thing. Culturally, you have to change. If you give an application to someone, that fellow should feel that he has to sort out this problem. That is not there. So the communism has created this kind of a problem that I am the boss. Why should that fellow will be like this? Why should he should be rich? I should also be rich, kind of thing. This can happen only through education and all that. So I was never a communist. In my book, it talks about the my allegiance or first student union activity I did was for AASF actually. In the school, I was an AASF. I was not an activist. I went with them to for a state conference in Koilon. That is also mentioned.
Yes.
And on the way, I am a singer, so everybody will take me. You know, how you go in a lorry, you know? And that lorry, all these ASF people together, I was also inside the lorry. And then in Kayangulam, the lorry broke down. So we were sitting, we were not getting the conferences in Koilon. Then I sat and I was singing Kayambu, 60, Kayambu, Kandil Vidalum, Ayam Basranga, Apurtha hit part. I was singing. By the time you reach repaired and reach Koilon, it is already 9:30. Party thing is over. then we went and saw a movie in that Grand or some theatre is there. But Balraj saw any movie, I remember that. So these are all the kind of children. But I also used to go for KSU, this thing. But allegiance, Charthala is the center of all these people, Ravi, and all these people. But the problem is that we ruin the environment here actually by doing this. In Trivandrum, I was constructing a building, and the kind of experience I have, I don't want to make it publicly because it become another set of discussion. So I don't know. I just kept it out. Then in the Malayalam version book, which I am going to release in the next 6 months, I have told my translation is being, I am asked one of the biggest Malayalam writer to translate this into. Translation is very tough English to Malayalam. But then I told him specifically I will write one full chapter on doing business in Kerala and I will add that. But there is an environmental problem that has to be sorted out. I think I should take initiative for doing such things.
Right. One more question if it is a... So sir, you said the last bastion of communism, Alleppey and Cherthala. So I think he says cultural change is what is required. But what is happening is the politics is eating culture.
Okay, one more question. You were first in the traditional technology industry. Now you have entered the sunrise industry, entertainment industry. Can we expect that the best is yet to come from you?
No. Best is yet to come. That is board, billing. Best is yet to come. That I am 100% certain about that. But the point is that the entertainment industry which I got into is only visual effects and computer graphics. Unfortunately, that is being served for the Indian. I was doing this for the Indian movie industry. We did Bahubali, we did that.
Indian?
No, even Malayalam, Lucifer, not all the big movies came in Malayalam. We had done the VFX. But the problem is that that is not remunerating. So you cannot see. You need a business which can get scale up. I had a 4-year non-compete after exiting the last business. So I could not do IT. So then I wanted to do something. So I did this. But the point is that then I realized that no, this is not the one which you can become a 100 crore and 1000 crore. There is only one company, that is Prime Focus in Bombay. They have been doing more of financial engineering, and now they have grown. That is okay.
Yeah.
But that business is.
We will take it upstairs now.
Okay.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. The hotel has some rules. All of you know that, so you can't serve the liquor here. Okay. So, but they were kind to give us a room, and that is you have to take the stairs and go right and take the stairs to room number 104. Everything is there. Please walk. Please climb up and or take the lift and go. Nirmal and others also would help. So let us go to that place, have a drink or two, and come back and have our dinner here and go. Dinner is served here only. We must definitely give a wonderful round of applause to this guy. What a great evening that he has had for us. Wonderful place. Now, Nirmal, vote of thanks.
These are tough times, unprecedented times for our society and more especially for the entrepreneurial community. Every day we hear about young people losing hope and losing a chance to go on with their entrepreneurial aspirations. In such cases, in these troubled times, I think life stories like industry stalwarts like N.R. Panikkar sirs would definitely guide them to better heights and also motivate them to do better. On behalf of TiE Kerala, all our charter members, all our associate members, I'd like to congratulate N.R. sir for his launch of this book. I would like to thank the luminaries on the dais as well as online for their kind words on the book launch. Thank you for being here. Again, special thanks to SR sir. I think he's done a great job again, anchoring this whole show. Thank you, sir. Finally, thanks to all of you for being here physically present. Many of them are online in the virtual platform too. Thank you for being here. I'll cut short my vote of thanks. Please join us for dinner. Thank you.